It is Tuesday night. We are mock drafting. Well, Heath isn't. Lazy Heath. He's just sitting there criticizing everyone's picks. Isn't that right? Welcome to Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM. Tuesday night special. What's up, Heath?
What's going on? Our good friend Joe in the chat, trash talking his good friend John, who's in the draft. It's a Tuesday night. It feels like football again. Let's go.
Yes, we have 11 people joining me in my mock draft. It is half PPR. And we only start 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 flex, and a quarterback and a tight end. But it's not one of those 3 receiver leagues. So you're going to see that board filling in with McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Breece Hall. We got to talk about this Brandon Ayuk situation, see where Deebo Samuel goes. I'm in a best ball league, a slow draft best ball league, where Deebo Samuel went like 15th, Heath. So I think someone was anticipating an Ayuk trade. It could happen. What do you think about that? It looks like it's going to be San Francisco or Pittsburgh.
Feels very much like it has felt for the last 2 months. Brandon Ayuk might be traded, and Brandon Ayuk might sign an extension with the 49ers. And one of those 2 things is going to happen. And I don't know which one. And I'm not adjusting I was not on the show this morning because I was doing FFT Dynasty with Jacob Gibbs. But what was speaking of Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs reaction? Am I the only person who's moved Jahmyr Gibbs out of round 1?
I took him 19th in that draft. Yeah, but the thing is, like, he got hurt.
In what draft?
My best ball 14-team expert league, analyst league best ball draft. He fell. He kept going, and I was on the clock, and we didn't know what the injury was. We knew he hurt his leg. And then I saw it was a hamstring injury, and I said, all right, I'm taking him at 19. Travis Etienne went 1 pick ahead. It was either going to be him or Marvin Harrison for me.
Hey, you're on the clock. It's time to make a terrible pick.
So I took Garrett Wilson in that draft. All right, so I'm on the clock with the 9th pick. So far, nothing too well. One of the big 8 has got to not. Is Jamar Chase still available?
He is.
Oh, okay. All right, so Jamar Chase, yeah, he's one of the elite 8. I thought maybe he'd go 7th or 8th. I thought maybe go 8th, I guess. So he didn't. Saquon Barkley goes ahead of him. I will take Jamar Chase, even though not starting 3 receivers, even though Jamar Chase did not show up to practice today. When do you start getting worried about the holdouts?
I'm not really. I guess I will probably, I know Jamie, I think, moved Tyreek ahead of Lamb. If we get to 10 days before the season, I will drop them a little bit in my rankings. But I just don't believe under the new rules that there's a very good chance that we're going to see anybody actually hold out and miss games. I think they'll get Chase taken care of. I don't know if they'll get Lamb taken care of. I'm a little bit worried about Lamb for dynasty purposes because I don't know if he or his quarterback is going to be there. But for now, I think great pick by you. And Saquon Barkley went 8th overall. It's a good segue. We're doing bust tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go. He still has what's his ADP right now? Still like 8th?
8th. Yeah.
Right around there. Okay.
It's 8th.
By the way, let me thank a lot of people. Thank everyone who donated to St. Jude to be in this draft tonight. Very much appreciate it. Thank all of you for watching. We have one guy who donated $150. Yeah, that was okay. You know what? Who displayed that? You?
It was me.
Bad form. You can't be.
No, wait, whoa! Don't spoil it for anybody.
Okay, I won't. Okay. Jahmyr Gibbs just went 15th overall after Travis Etienne. It went 14th. That was pretty. All right, someone's falling to me here. Puka or Harrison. I already have 1 wide receiver. Or
Gibbs.
No, he just went.
Oh.
I don't want to start receiver, but I have to start receiver, and I'm going to start with Marvin Harrison. I think Puka Nacua is probably just fine. But you are a wise man, Heath, and you have taught me not to underreact to preseason injuries. You were dead on about that last year with a couple of guys like Cooper Kupp. So I'll take Harrison over Puka. What do you think of the draft board so far?
Yeah, I think that you made the right choice there. I actually moved Gibbs behind Harrison as well and put Puka and Gibbs in the same spot, basically right after those 2 guys. And it's like I have pretty much been agnostic when it comes to injury-prone guys. I'm just not when it comes to currently injured guys. And so the one guy that I haven't moved yet, that I've been tempted to, I'm kind of waiting a week because he's just so much better than everybody else, is Christian McCaffrey. But pretty much everybody else, I'm moving them down a little bit if they're injured. And Gibbs in particular, You've done an excellent job of highlighting this all summer long. I bet you've said it 7 times. I don't know if you've said it since everybody started listening, but Jahmyr Gibbs, the final 8 or 9 weeks of the season, when he and David Montgomery were both healthy, his workload did not look like a first-round pick. And I was pretty adamant. The Lions keep saying they're going to give him more work. He was awesome. I believe them. But I also kind of believe now he got hurt in June and missed a month or wasn't cleared for a month. And now he's hurt again. I could absolutely believe they say, you know what? We've got David Montgomery. We don't have to put too much on this guy's plate.
Yeah, well, he was the number 10 running back per game with David Montgomery at the end of the year. And that was with him on pace for 17 touchdowns. And that's crazy. But I think he was on pace for 200 carries, something like that. And really not like a good amount of catches, but not a Kamara, not an 80 catch pace or anything. And he was scoring all those touchdowns. Then back in the they go to the playoffs and they completely forgot about him near the goal line. Montgomery got all the goal line work because at the end of the year, they were splitting it. But then in the playoffs, Montgomery got it back. So there's risk there, but he's so talented. That's why we're fascinated by him. All right, so some surprises with Travis Etienne going 14th. Just move my computer here. Please don't crap out on me, computer. Okay, we're good. Travis Etienne going 14th. Cooper Kupp going before Puka Nacua. Did you talk about that? Because I was sending an email.
I didn't. I was talking about Jahmyr Gibbs. I have them 9 spots apart. So I've got Puka at 16 and Kupp at 25. So it's like, if you think about 2 guys that are 9 spots apart, it's not that crazy for one of them to go over the other one.
Look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua for Lucas at team 6. It's
a great start.
Yeah. Some interesting starts there. So he and I, 4 teams went receiver. Only 2 teams went running back. Bijan, Cook, and Kyron and Etienne. I assume you like the Bijan James Cook start better?
Yes. Yeah. Bijan Cook, as you know, Bijan or Brees and Cook is a very common start for me from the middle this year. And I think the way this draft's going, there's going to be, probably a couple of wide receivers that I have ranked in round 2 are still going to be there when, who is that? David picks in round 3.
Daniel is one of our drafters as well. Where's David? Is there a David or did you just?
And I think I called David. I need Thomas to zoom in just a little bit on the draft sheet for me when I'm trying to see who the name is.
Daniel. So Daniel's our featured drafter. He's coming on.
I said his name wrong.
So you can address that with him. So far, what do we got? 25, 6, 7, 28 picks in and not a single quarterback or tight end. So we'll see how that. Here's Brandon Ayuk. All right. Deebo Samuel went 8 picks. I don't want to sit here and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 picks ahead of Ayuk, I think. Thoughts? Should Deebo Samuel be going ahead of Olave, London, Devontae Adams?
So I would definitely take him ahead of Devontae Adams, not the other guys. But if Ayuk's gone, then I would take him ahead of the other guys. And right now I have Brandon Ayuk in round 4. That's on the 49ers. He'll probably go backwards if he's on the Steelers.
We are talking about busts on tomorrow's show, and you and I are on the Derrick Henry is going to be a bust train, but I don't usually see him get drafted about 30th overall. His ADP is, gosh, I don't know. It's like 14th or something crazy.
Yeah.
Is he a bad pick at 30th overall, Derrick Henry?
I would not take him here.
Half PPR, let me remind you, half PPR.
Okay, half PPR. I'd be a little bit more likely to take him here. We're gonna have maybe a run of like 4 or 5 straight of my busts because Travis Kelce also going to be on my bust list as current ADP. But no, half PPR. I think 30 is probably okay, but there's still lots of reason for concern, and it's not just age. It's that the Ravens generally chop up running back touches, and they are talking like they're going to do that again. And Lamar Jackson's going to take 30% of the rush attempts, and he's not going to throw to his running backs.
Should I take Ken Walker or Alvin Kamara? I don't want to draft Rachaad White. I know he's probably the highest rank, but what do you think? Should I take Walker or Kamara in half PPR?
So, yeah, I've got Rachaad White ranked 20 spots higher than either one of those guys. But Ken Walker is in half PPR. I'd take Walker.
Yeah, me too. And I just have too much Kamara, so we gotta change things out.
You're not actually playing this league out, and you're not playing like 90% of the leagues where you've drafted Kamara. I know I say that because I've made that mistake a lot of years where I get to this time of year and I'm like, man, I've drafted that guy so many times. I don't want to draft him now. And then the teams that I actually play out, I don't have the guy that I drafted all of June and July.
Yeah, I know, right? By the way, we have 5 spots left in the FFT Open. So we had 100. I do this wrong every single time, but 132 spots available as of 24 hours ago.
How many leagues is that?
12 leagues of 12 people, but 11 spots at each. Yep.
Good.
Yeah, please join. We have 5 spots left. That's amazing. That's really, in 24 hours, we sold almost 132 spots. So what are we, 127 spots. That's terrific. We expanded it this year, and we're looking forward to getting to that $33,000 mark for St. Jude. If you want to join, go to tinyurl.com/draftathon 2024, tinyurl.com/draftathon 2024. Okay, what do we got here, Heath? We got Evans and Pittman off the board. Still have Rashad White there. I will take him in round 4 if he comes back to me.
I was gonna say, like, this is and in half PPR, he loses a little bit of value. Absolutely love the value on Mike Evans. He's a wide receiver that probably ranks a little bit better amongst receivers in half PPR than he does full most years, because he's a high ADOT, high touchdown guy. And I have him ranked at the end of round 2 in full PPR.
Rashad White off the board here after Pittman. We're done with 3 rounds. You know, actually, at this point, the most interesting player for me is Neighbors, because I don't like this injury does matter to me. It's valuable time for him as a rookie in training camp. I will say that, like, everything about Malik Neighbors reminds me of Odell Beckham, including a training camp injury. If we recall, Odell Beckham missed the first 4 games of the season, and then he averaged like 100+ yards per game as a rookie.
Yeah.
But all right, did Neighbors go? Not yet. We have Rashad White, and here we go. Finally, the quarterbacks, Mahomes and Hurts. At this point, I would have taken Kelsey or Laporta. They're both gone. I'm on deck here. I was thinking about Hurts, Mahomes, Allen. Probably going to skip it. So I'm looking. I mean, like, Malik Neighbors isn't even showing up on your rankings.
Of course he's not. I finally got him up into round 7, I think, or round 6 maybe. Top players on my board, I would guess, are Trey McBride and Mark Andrews.
I'm taking Kamara. Look at that. Kamara or Ken Walker. I got them both. I'm happy with this start here. Yeah, I mean, if you want to start receiver, if you like that trio of running backs mix. By the way, did I miss Josh Jacobs? He's gone, right?
Yeah, he went with the second pick of round 3.
Okay, yeah.
To Jim.
If you like the trio of Walker, Kamara, and Mixon as much as I do, then you'll be fine taking receiver in first 2 picks. All right, this is a good draft so far. Really, the craziest pick, and it's not like a bad pick, but the wackiest was Cooper Kupp ahead of Nakua, but nothing bad about it. DJ Moore and Devontae Smith and DJ Moore here. What do you think about these picks?
That's really probably right about the place where I would take them. I think I have Devontae Smith in round 5, and I have Moore ahead of him for sure. There's certainly some picks that I like better. I think that there's a couple more quarterbacks that need to be drafted pretty quick, a couple of tight ends that need to be drafted pretty quick. There goes Mark Andrews. That's a great pick. I mean, if it wasn't for that Derrick Henry pick, I would love Lucas's team with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Puka Nacua, and Mark Andrews.
Look, it's a good. Derrick Henry was not a bad pick there. Like, I wouldn't have done it, but it's a great pick in terms of ADP. Like, he got like a round value on Derrick Henry, and this isn't even PPR. It's half.
Right.
I should tell everybody, buddy, about BetMGM, right? If you haven't signed up, now's the time. Sign up for BetMGM and use the bonus code FANTASY, and you're going to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FANTASY. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game, and you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code FANTASY when you sign up on BetMGM. We did have some news today. Marquise Brown out 4 to 6 weeks as we get Mark Andrews, Joe Mixon, and Josh Allen. We have someone auto drafting here. That's a little disappointing. Where'd he go? Come back. Here's Trey McBride.
You want me to turn him off of auto draft?
I already did, and then he auto picked again. So
no, I don't think you should.
Okay. Well, we could pick for him if you like.
I think it's fine.
Right.
Like you're trying to give people a legitimate experience, and this is going to happen in almost every draft. It'll probably happen to me once or twice.
You think Rashee Rice should be in play in the next round with Marquise Brown?
I think Rashee Rice should be in play already.
Even half PPR?
What's that?
Half PPR?
Yeah. There's a couple of wide receivers that I have ahead of him. 1, 2, 3, I believe, that I have ahead of him. But there's lots of players who have been picked that I have behind him.
Remember you sounded like the owl in the Tootsie Pop commercial. Remember that? How many is it? 1, 2, 3. Yep, there you go. That was you.
Never found out. There goes T. Higgins. That's a great pick by John.
Well, not really, because I kind of wanted him, but
okay.
Alas, he did not make it to his incredible ADP. We have John. Another John is one of the guys who is auto picking right now. So John with an H. I'm going to see if I can reach out to him. I'm going to try to get in touch with him. You tell me. You just go ahead and talk about the draft if you wouldn't mind.
So we just saw Dalton Kincaid go with the first pick in round 5. I'm not sure if I mentioned this or not, but we're talking busts on tomorrow's show. So that team has Christian McCaffrey and Devon Achane, Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf, and Dalton Kincaid. There's Lamar Jackson. So the big 4 now, early in round 5, off the board at quarterback. The big 5, I guess, if you want to put Dalton Kincaid in that group, off the board at tight end. If you've not taken one of those positions, I'm not taking one of those positions for at least the next round. It's time to gobble up some wide receiver values and I guess people are going to be scared of George Pickens. It'll be interesting to see how far he falls. But still, when I release my wide receiver tiers tomorrow, Adam, I've been so excited about this because I get to put the mega tier out there. 18 wide receivers now within 0.6 of a point per game.
Oh, there goes.
And a couple of those guys.
That's amazing.
A couple of those guys, in fact, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those guys went in round 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those guys have now gone in round 5.
Man.
And 1, 2, 3, 4 of those guys have not been drafted.
I'm a little on tilt right now with those last 2 picks. Pickens and Amari Cooper were definitely going to be my picks. I will not be drafting 3 running backs with my first 5 picks. I don't think that's a great way to start.
It's not a tight end or a quarterback pick here.
I will say, tight end, I'm not waiting any more than 1 round.
Right.
And because this is a 2 receiver league, not a 3 receiver league. So to me, getting tight ends a little bit more important. I love Richardson, Burrow, and Stroud here. I love it. But Tank Dell is just staring at me. I don't think I can pass him up.
If you love Richardson, Burrow, and Stroud, then you can't take a quarterback here because only one team needs a quarterback before you pick again. So you'll definitely get one of those guys coming back.
I know, but I think I really want a tight end coming back. I'd like to get a top 7 or 8 tight end. So I'm probably not going to have one of those 3 quarterbacks, but that's okay. That's okay. Quarterback, I can deal with it. Not having an elite or not having a.
Hopefully these 3 guys are listening and they will all take a tight end so that you can't have one.
Maybe if they take Kittle, Pitts, and Ingram, then yeah, I'll draft a quarterback. Oh, there goes Kittle.
I do have Tank Dell in the mega tier, and that means he's within 11 PPR fantasy points in projections of 4 guys who were drafted in round 2, and he's available at the end of round 5.
Like, should I have taken, if this had been PPR, would you have taken Christian Kirk over Tank Dell or Chris Godwin over Tank Dell?
Definitely not Godwin. I have Kirk ranked 1 spot higher. They're 50 and 51 overall for me.
Man, it's hard to get. It is hard to get a top 8 tight end and a top 7 quarterback.
Not really. You just got to draft them earlier.
Yeah.
You passed on my number 1 tight end twice after 2 tight ends had been taken. You passed on Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts in round 3 and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in round 4. You just chose not to have one.
Yeah, okay. If you want to have like your 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and your flex, if you want to have 5 running backs and receivers with your first 5 picks, then you're not getting a top 7 quarterback and a top 8 tight end. You can get one of them. So
I like that Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, 2 other mega tier wide receivers available at the 5-6 turn.
I don't love it. I don't know why. I'm still not really a Ridley guy, but I do see the changes that they're making with Ridley, lining him up differently than he was last year with Jacksonville. Jacob was talking about this, using him in the Jamar Chase role in this offense, which is, Callahan coming from the Bengals.
That might be my favorite start there because he's got 2 top 12 running backs. He has the number 1 quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, an elite number 1 wide receiver, and then took advantage of the mega tier and got 2 of the later guys in the mega tier late with Kirk and Ridley. I like that team a lot.
I like team 9 a lot. It's probably my favorite. Oh, and they're on the clock. How about that? Oh, Godwin. Oh, wait. Kittle, Pitts. We still have Ingram. Man, I wish this were full PPR. Like,
you can't take Evan Ingram here.
Yeah, I don't want to take Evan Ingram here. Like, that's not the pick I should make.
No, certainly.
This is a 6-point per passing touchdown league. I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow.
I like it.
I was thinking about Stroud there, but like Stroud and Dell, that's maybe a little bit risky. I don't know. Okay, thank you for your support, Joe Burrow. Well, why couldn't I take Evan Ingram there? Because now I'm going to be weak at tight end, and I really freaking hate tight end depth this year.
I think there's a really good chance, first off, that he comes back to you.
Yeah.
And second, that you could take Evan Ingram in a half PPR draft and still kind of like, you're not weak because you know who you're starting every week, but he's probably going to average like 8.5 fantasy points per game.
You really don't like him. I think
he's fine. He's just, except for those 4 games after Christian Kirk got hurt, he's been one of the most boring fantasy players in all of football.
Yeah, it's not the right pick. It wasn't the right pick. You just don't reach just to fill a position. All right,
exactly.
Here's David Montgomery. So like Derrick Henry and David Montgomery is a fairly risky running back group because they're not going to catch a lot of passes. But David Montgomery, when you're talking about Gibbs being hurt right now with his second hamstring injury, that looks like a pretty good pick to me.
I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, I like this team.
I think like A+ on 4 of the picks, and 2 of them are going to be on the bus show tomorrow.
Who? Diggs?
Henry and Diggs.
You like Dell better than Diggs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. It's one man's opinion. You're doing great.
Oh, what do you mean discouraged? I gave an A+ on 4 out of 6 picks. That's fantastic.
All right. So this team went quasi 0 RB, team 3. They went Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Nico Collins, Trey McBride, and then Zamir White, Tony Pollard. What do you think about team 3, Richard's team?
That's a lot of fun. I think you got the number 1 tight end drafted as the 4th tight end. 3 very, very good wide receivers. And you're probably fine at the running back position. I would love this team if he could have taken Lamar Jackson. He couldn't, instead of Zamir White.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not really a fair thing to say. I mean, because he couldn't.
But you know what he could do with his next pick is take Anthony Richardson or Kyler Murray, and I would absolutely love this team.
All right, Richard. How do you, as a guy named Richard, not take Richardson with your next pick? He's falling, huh? CJ Stroud.
I actually have Kyler ahead of him, but.
Oh, yeah? How come?
I don't think we have I know upside's all that matters. I think Kyler has just as much upside as Anthony Richardson, and there's not as much floor concern.
I'm trying so hard to upload a soundbite to my mixer right now, and it's just like I just don't have time to do it. So just keep talking.
We've got 32 minutes. Like,
I know, but I'm trying to host a show. I need like 30 seconds. Can you just?
I'll just talk for 30 seconds. And you mean to talk about team 9, or let's talk about team 3? Is he going to take Kyler Murray? Richard, if you're listening to the show, you are a genius. You won the draft. Take a few more running backs late, but Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Nico Collins is a wide receiver core. You've stacked Kyler with Trey McBride. You've got a pair of starting running backs in Zamir White and Tony Pollard, a team without a weakness and upside to the moon. Did Dave Richard just enter this and put Richard in as his name so we wouldn't know who it was? Because this guy's an expert.
By the way, I would like to just call attention, if I could, to the Twitter poll I ran the other day, per Heath's suggestion about having a TV in your bedroom.
I ran it too, and 2/3 of people have a TV in their room.
For me, it's 70.6% of my followers have a TV in their bedroom. So
yeah, like the majority of people do a lot of things that are not advisable.
Like having a TV in your bedroom?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need a place to go watch TV.
You gotta sleep, man.
And look, you don't have to turn it on. But sometimes, you need a private place to go watch the game because you don't want your kids to see you throwing a fit when Miami's losing. That's your bedroom.
I actually, I'm, you want to know how weird I am. I don't have a TV in my bedroom. I do have a TV on my patio.
No, that's great. I was outside the other day going, how do I not have a TV out here? It's never going to happen.
I have a TV on the patio, and all 3 of my kids' rooms have TVs in them.
Oh yeah, good for you. That's good. Yeah.
I just don't have a TV in my room.
All right, we got some interesting picks here. We got Deontay Johnson, Evan Ingram came off the board, David Njoku. Too early for me. That's too early for me. That was an auto pick though.
Yeah, I don't know that the gap in half PPR between him and Ingram is actually that big for me. I'll look at it right now. I've got Ingram is a little ways behind, or Njoku's a little ways behind, but not that far.
I have to get in on this tight end run because Jake Ferguson's the last guy that I'll accept. I'm disappointed, but yeah, go ahead.
No, you could, I guess. Go ahead. I don't think this anxiety you hear from Adam about filling this final roster spot is not the way that you win fantasy football drafts.
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, you don't I don't even know who was available. I'm not saying you passed on somebody that was a lot better pick, and I like Jake Ferguson more than David Njoku, but don't draft in round 7 a tight end because I got to fill my tight end slot.
I do.
I've already got all my other starter spots are full.
No,
I got to get a defense. I don't have a defense yet. I got all these other places full.
I didn't have to fill out my starting lineup. Just my read of the tight end position is that after Jake Ferguson, I just hate it this year. This year is, to me, it's just worse than it usually is. And like, I was lucky that Njoku went before Ferguson.
You know that most people think that this is the year that tight end is deep.
I don't.
I know.
So I have a TV in my bedroom, like I just marched to the beat of my own.
Like you wouldn't have been happy like taking Hawkinson and somebody to stream at the beginning of the year.
No, I wouldn't have. And I don't think like 83rd or whatever that was, 80th-ish was so early for Jake Ferguson.
No, I don't either.
Yeah, okay. So
I wasn't objecting to the player. I was objecting to the attitude around the pick. Well,
look, I mean, I wanted one of the first 7. What is Ferguson 9? One of the first 8 guys. Right. But it's determined that Ingram, it was too early for him. So I waited around and I got Ferguson.
Now, what is the chance when you look at the picks that were drafted afterwards?
Yeah.
What's the chance that Jake Ferguson finishes as tight end 8 or 9, averages 9.9 PPR fantasy points per game?
That's low.
And Zay Flowers, Javonte Williams, Najee Harris, Keenan Allen, Xavier Worthy, one of those guys makes you hate yourself.
No, I could still draft one of them, right? I just took Tajay Spears here as my running back 3. And my team's so good, I don't really need any more players. Like I'm pretty much.
Yeah, that's probably true.
All right, so Zach Moss goes here ahead of Chase Brown in round 7. That's an early Jared Goff pick. That's not. I don't know if that's a great pick. I'm gonna call that one a bad pick.
And this is the thing, like everybody likes to poo-poo and say the draft's not going to go the way that ADP goes. but Jared Goff right now is being drafted earlier in drafts than Tua, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, and Trevor Lawrence, and Justin Herbert.
Yeah, just like there are too many good players on the board. All of those quarterbacks are available right now. Too many good players, like the ones you mentioned.
I thought Jordan Love went way too early, but he also goes way too early.
I agree, but I don't want to just steal all of your busts for tomorrow, right?
Right.
Let's see. Does anybody else stand out as early to you or great value, like any other picks in this?
Yeah, we should talk about the good picks.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I thought Javonte was a really good pick there. End of round 7. It remains a blue dress, gold dress thing, like even with the first preseason game, but I mostly saw what I like. I think Javonte Williams is the clear number 1 running back in Denver. And I expect he's going to probably play 60% of the snaps and catch a whole bunch of passes from Bo Nix.
Yes, not going to play on third down, I would say. But
thankfully, Sean Payton's teams throw the ball to their running backs a lot on first and second down.
He didn't play on third down last year, and he caught plenty of passes. He just didn't. I don't know. Jaleel McLaughlin is definitely. I think I made this comparison on the show with you, and then you said Kamara and Ingram. I said it's like Zach Moss and Chase Brown, where Chase Brown's more exciting, more explosive than Zach Moss. I think Moss is better suited to carry the workload, and that's kind of how I feel about Javonte and McLaughlin. And
this like advanced stats say that Chase Brown was one of the worst rushers in the NFL last year, and Jaleel McLaughlin, whenever he plays real football, like the first person that puts a fingernail on his jersey goes down to the ground.
That's how I feel about Chase Brown. Watching him, he's just not going to break tackles. But I will say, like, he had the highest percentage of carries for 0 or negative yards among running backs last year. I usually use 100 carries minimum, but he didn't have 100 carries, so I had to lower it for Chase Brown. And he had the worst rate of carries for 0 or negative yards, but it was only like 5 carries. And I watched all of them, and I think on every single one of them, he just got swallowed up in the backfield. Like, really was not.
That's what happens when you're running behind that offensive line.
Maybe, but I think it's foolish with his small sample size to make any judgments about what kind of rusher he is. I just don't think he's a physical rusher, so I don't think he can really carry 15 times a game, right?
Oh, he was drafted by Richard. I think that's a good value.
He just run. Was it 7 straight running backs? Wow. Listen to how high my voice got there. Like, I was shocked.
So we got Raheem Mostert, Jonathan Brooks, Nick Chubb, Brian Robinson, Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, Devin Singletary. Who is your favorite running back from that group?
Mostert. How about you?
Half PPR, I believe it would be Mostert. Brooks is right there with him. Like, I think the first 2 that went, and there's a little bit of a gap. I think Singletary might be my third favorite.
It's possible that Singletary just got a little bit more valuable with Tyrone Tracy's injury, although it's not a serious injury. But I don't know that they trust anyone else to be the third down back. I don't think Eric Gray is going to do that. So that actually could be a little bit of a boost to Singletary. He's boring, but he's not bad as a bench piece at this point. All right, so who would be fourth for you? Like Nick Chubb, too early for Chubb, right?
Yeah. I think I'm the low guy on Brian Robinson too. It'd probably be Chase Robinson for me.
Chase Brown for you?
Yeah, Chase Robinson.
Okay, I see what you did there. Heath never misspeaks. He just plays tricks on you.
If you just say it really confidently, just move on.
Yeah. Okay. Zach Charbonnet, Jerome Ford. So obviously, is there a difference between Jerome Ford and Chuba Hubbard, who's probably going to go a few rounds later?
I am more confident that Jonathan Brooks is going to be Jonathan Brooks again this year than I am that Nick Chubb is going to be Nick Chubb again.
By the way, I'm closing in on what I think is a terrific pick. Like, I'm extremely excited to make it.
Well, I'm going to guess it's not a running back because there's been 17 of those taken in the last 18 picks. I see JSN. I see Ladd McConkey. You're surely not going to take another quarterback or a tight end yet. So I'm going to assume it is a wide receiver.
Don't be so sure. Don't be so sure.
It's going to be a wide receiver. Could be Brian Thomas Jr.
Maybe. Nope. Here we go. All right. Preseason injury overreaction. 105th overall, Marquise Brown. Very good chance he's the best receiver for this team when he comes back. I think this is a steal. And I'll be looking to take Hopkins in round 11 too, by the way. Let everybody else overreact.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like it was just like 10 minutes ago that you were saying that you learned last year that I was right, that you shouldn't be drafting guys that are hurt.
He's my wide receiver 4 is 105th overall. That's too late.
No, I think that I still have him ahead of Worthy. So I agree. I've got him at pick 87. I'm more worried about Hopkins, but even now, if we're in the pick 100s, I think it's a fine place to take DeAndre Hopkins too. If somebody wanted to do that before it gets back to Adam.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't know that I would take 2 injured receivers with back-to-back picks. That might be plus I already have a camp holdout. That might be a little bit too much risk for me. But we still have like the Josh Palmers and the Khalil Shakirs of the world, Romo Dunze.
And I really think like in this format with the smaller starting roster that you've chosen with only 2 wide, there's only 1 flex, right?
Yes.
I don't have much need for any of those. Like, yeah, this guy's gonna score 10 points per game. Like, I'm probably not taking Josh Palmer. Give me DeAndre Hopkins. Give me Jameson Williams was just taken. It's time if all those excited. Brian Thomas just taken. JSN was taken earlier in the round, maybe a little earlier than I would like, but it's time to just start taking backup running backs. And unfortunately, a bunch of those just went.
Yeah, we still have Chuba Hubbard, Ty Chandler, J.K. Dobbins. We have Blake Corum, Ezekiel Elliott. We have Jaleel McLaughlin. So there's still some exciting players, if you want to use that word. How many rounds do we have left? 4 rounds left.
Has Rome been taken yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Hopkins and Rome are probably the last 2 wide receivers. Keon Coleman just went. That's probably the end of the potentially exciting wide receivers.
I got to tell our guy Dan that he should come on. Dan, if you're watching, you can come on a little bit earlier because this draft is wrapping up pretty quickly.
Who's Dan?
Dan's the guy who bid who paid 150.
Oh, he's coming on the stream with us.
Yeah, he's coming on the stream.
So I can apologize to him in person for calling him David. Yeah,
exactly.
That's excellent.
So with Addison, am I on the clock, by the way? No, I'm on deck. With Addison being picked somewhat recently here, let me get your thoughts on the Vikings quarterback situation, because McCarthy not going to be playing anytime soon. He might miss the season. He's going to have knee surgery. It's going to be Darnold for a while at least.
Yeah, I think that the floor, it probably doesn't matter, because as a rookie, McCarthy was probably going to be pretty similar to Darnold, but there was a higher floor and a higher ceiling if you had both of those guys. Now you don't have the floor of McCarthy being good, or the ceiling of McCarthy like breaking out and being good as a rookie, and you don't have the floor of another shot at somebody else if Sam Darnold looks like he has most of his NFL career. So I think the Vikings pass catchers are riskier with only 1 probably bad quarterback than with 2 probably bad quarterbacks.
Sorry, chat a little bit more. Yeah, thanks for telling everybody to draft DeAndre Hopkins and Rome Odunze, who happened right before.
Oh, how in the world? This is a great point. Nick with the best value of the draft. Now, I didn't even realize this guy was still here. When I was doing the mega tier and I was tweeting about it, somebody said, is Cortland Sutton the last guy in the mega tier? Because there's somebody in the mega tier with a round 7 ADP. I'll talk about them in the article tomorrow. And no, it's not Cortland Sutton. He has a round 10 ADP. He was just taken in round 10 of this draft. Almost certainly the number 1 wide receiver on his team. Yeah, and I think very likely to be a top 40 wide receiver this year. Probably taken at wide receiver 50 here. Outstanding value. Nick Daniel with Jaden Daniels. Didn't take a quarterback all the way until round 10.
Yeah, he nailed it.
Jaden Daniels.
Bring him on.
Damn, Daniel.
Yeah, there he is. Hold on. We got a little soundbite here. We can play this.
Now, here's some combination of Adam, Dave, Jamie,
Dan,
and Heath.
There it is.
Perfect.
What's up, Dan? Thanks
What's
for
up?
Thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me, guys. And Heath, thanks for being so nice to me about my Jaden Daniels pick after butchering my name earlier in the draft.
Hey, I just want to say, David, that we really appreciate you supporting the cause and being here with us tonight. It's a great illustration that while we're taking great quarterbacks in round 3, round 4, you can still wait until round 10 and find a potential league winner. The question is, with 4 picks left, do you feel like you have to draft another quarterback pretty quick just in case?
Typically, yes. If it's I'm kind of the earlier late guy, and if I go late, I like to scoop up 2 quarterbacks with some upsides. We'll see if Caleb Daniels makes it way back to me. I like kind of pairing up those 2 rookies and hoping one of them breaks out this year.
I love that you said Caleb Daniels, and you know what? That could be that. You know, it's fine. That could be a quarterback strategy.
Right.
Caleb Daniels. Yeah, I love it. We do have I haven't even looked at the quarterbacks in a while, but we have Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford. These kind of more, not all of them, but we got some proven veterans in there that should be pretty good that you can pair with Jaden Daniels if it comes to that. I guess my question would be, what's your thought on, pairing Jaden Daniels with Caleb Williams versus Brock Purdy or Tua, who are, I think, safer?
Yeah, I agree. Brock Purdy, I think I'm still a little bit of a disbeliever in him, even though he's had a couple good years. I think the Dolphins could have a historically bad defense, which could mean some big numbers out of Tua. So I do like Tua from that perspective, but injuries with him, always a concern. So, I do like Caleb quite a bit too. Him and Jaden, I think, are pretty close together. And it's tough to pair up 2 rookies on the same team, but I think they have such good upside that, one of them has really good potential to break out and be a, top 7, top 8 quarterback by the end of the year.
Got to ask you about your James Cook pick in round 2, because that is not that's totally fine with Heath and with Jamie. That is well ahead of his ADP. So go ahead. In a half PPR league, why'd you take James Cook?
Yeah, can you tell I watch your guys' show all the time with the James Cook love there in the middle of round 2? In half-point PPR, I do like running back. Frankly, I was surprised to get Bijan 7th overall in a half-point PPR draft, so that was a little bit of a surprise. But I thought James Cook there, Puka going right after. Obviously, we talked about some concerns with him and his health. Debo, who knows with the Ayuk situation, how it ultimately plays out. I'm not in love with Olave in London. Just felt like at that point in the draft, Cook was a little bit of a safer play.
This is a really good team, Heath. I don't even know what to say.
It's really, and it's kind of hard to imagine how 2 teams could draft so close together as yours and Daniels, and his could be so much better than yours.
Well, objectively, which one do you like better? Because he started running back, and I started receiver. Who did
right? Well, but he got Travis Kelce, and
I got Nick Ferguson.
You took a quarterback 5 rounds earlier than he did. But I'm not entirely. Oh wow, somebody just sniped him with Caleb Williams. I'm not entirely sure that your quarterback's actually going to be better than his, because he has Jaden Daniels, and like.
Just say his. Just, you don't have to tear me apart. Just say his.
No, I'm not tearing you apart.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts here, it seems like, Adam.
Yeah, right? This is very subtle.
Listen.
The Kelce pick was a little bit out of character. I don't typically like to go that high with tight end, but I kind of felt like I was kind of between Mike Evans and DJ Moore, frankly, at that point. And I'm not in love with Mike Evans, 5th year in a row of me not believing in that guy, and he comes back to bite me typically. And I got DJ Moore back in the 4th round. So ultimately I was okay with it. And Kelce and Laporta to me are a little bit of a coin flip. And I kind of went with Kelce, a little bit more of a proven track record.
Yeah. I mean, like personal preference, I would like Mike Evans and Trey McBride better than Travis Kelce and DJ Moore. But I think that's close enough that it's personal preference. Like the real answer to the question is, does Brandon Ayuk become a Pittsburgh Steeler? And does Raheem Mostert stay healthy? And if Ayuk stays a 49er and Mostert stays healthy, then I think Daniel probably wins the league.
Okay, well, I think you did a great job. So you took Curtis Samuel there. It's a little bit risky in terms of I assume you intend to draft a second quarterback. So a little bit risky to not take one there. So what was your thought process?
I still feel like Purdy and Tua are still there. I guess I've learned from watching you, Adam, give all your upcoming picks away, and somebody comes and snipes them, that they might both be gone by the time they get to me. But that's kind of my thinking. Hopefully one of those guys gets back to me that I can pair with Jaden Daniels.
And I will say, I am probably, if one of them is available, I am probably going to take one of Purdy or Tua, because I love Burrow, but I don't feel like he's completely safe with coming off the wrist injury. He's had a lot of injuries. He's got a wide receiver that's currently holding out. I actually think he's one of the quarterbacks, and this stems from when we talked to Marty Jaramillo, our injury guy, a few months ago. We came away saying, all right, maybe things have changed since then for him. I don't know. But Burrow's one guy that you might want to draft a backup quarterback with. So I will do that in this round, most likely.
I liked Carl's pick of Pat Freiermuth there. I'm really I understand the injury risk of TJ Hawkinson, but we're in round 12 now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you have a Travis Kelce, then obviously you don't, or a Sam Laporta or a Mark Andrews, you don't need to worry about it. But if you've got anybody else as your starting tight end, I'm not sure why TJ Hawkinson wouldn't be a click here. Now, if you look at it, Carl's really about the only team that would probably do it. I'm not sure the Kittle manager is going to do it.
I'll do it.
You'll do it, and that way, see, I help you out there, Dan, just to make sure that Adam didn't take one of those quarterbacks from you. He'll take Hawkinson instead.
It's a better pick for me for sure.
Can I ask you guys your expert advice here? How about, I feel like I haven't heard a lot you guys talk about Matthew Stafford. I mean, we talk about Puka, we talk about Kupp, those are round 2, round 3 guys. Kyron's a top, 10, 12 running back. He's known for catching passes out of the backfield. Are we underestimating Matthew Stafford at this point?
I'll give you some numbers in a minute, but Heath, you want to take that?
Yeah. I think I wouldn't be all that surprised, I guess, if we get to the end of the season and Stafford finishes as QB 11 or 12. And we do say, I'm the low guy on him. And so we do say that we underestimated him. I don't know that I can envision a situation that he finishes top 6. And we've seen that from Purdy. I kind of with you. I understand why you doubt the Brock Purdy, but if Ayuk stays, I could see Purdy finishing top 6 again. I could see Tua having a year where all these efficiency things that he leads the NFL in come together, and he's the best passing quarterback in the NFL by all measurements, and he's a top 5 quarterback. So definitely could see that we are underestimating Stafford. I'm just not sure that it's going to be a situation where he becomes a league winner. He just barely becomes a starter.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I am trying. There were 15 quarterbacks who've produced two top 15 PPR wide receivers over the last 8 seasons. There's a lot of numbers there. 15 quarterbacks over the last 8 seasons produced 2 top 15 PPR wide receivers. Most of them finished in the top 12. 7 of them finished top 4. 9 of them finished top 5 out of I don't know. It's a very good track record of quarterbacks who produce 2 stud receivers. They usually finish top 12. I'll put it that way. Stafford, though, probably because he rushes so little. I mean, almost 0 rushing yards, basically.
Yeah.
I don't see how he can finish higher than 9th per game. But he's solid. I mean, he averaged almost 25 points per game in 6-point per passing touchdown leagues in his last 6 games of the season. And that's when the offense just went crazy. They were one of the best offenses in football down the stretch. And he played very, very well.
So, Dan, this is why Adam's such a pro, is that I can say something in analysis, and then Adam can come in after me and act like he didn't hear anything I said and say the exact same thing, just
anything.
with some different numbers and some different justification, but just the exact same thing as if he's saying something new.
Yep. And I got bit just as I expected, right? The more you talk about quarterbacks, the more they're going to get picked right ahead of you. So Trevor Lawrence, not my favorite guy, but just felt like I needed to pair somebody with Jaden Daniels. So just took the next best available quarterback at that point.
I like that pick. I think that's I'm the low guy on Love, obviously, but I basically have Love, Lawrence, Tua, and Purdy all in the same tier. Those all guys that are probably going to finish somewhere between 10 and 15. And I think there is more upside with Lawrence. Maybe this will be the year that he's as good as everybody's always thought he was.
Okay, so I think there have been 19 quarterbacks over the last 8 seasons that have produced 2 top 16 wide receivers in PPR, and 15 of them finished in the top 12, and 11 of them finished in the top 7. So it's a good thing.
But I think because Matthew Stafford doesn't really run very much, he's probably not going to finish better than 9th. Probably going to be somewhere, if things go well, that 10 to 12 range.
And I'm sure it was my comments, not Heath's, that made you pick Lawrence over Stafford, right? It's
everyone knows Heath's a big Lawrence guy. So it's exactly right.
Mike Williams, Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, probably not. Oh, that was another auto pick. Yeah, John M's team, he donated. He actually donated more than he needed to just to support St. Jude. So we thank him, but he was not able to hang around for the entire draft. So about, I think after Jordan Love, or maybe at Jordan Love, he started auto picking. Actually, I think it was James Conner was his first auto pick.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's not that bad of a team, but Njoku and Cole.
Well, I mean, I think it just looks bad because it's next to Lucas's, his team is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Like all those great early picks of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Puka Nacua, Mark Andrews, got David Montgomery, and then he pair up Anthony Richardson with Caleb Williams. I mean, Jonathan Brooks in the second half of the season. That's a great team.
It is a very good team.
Get somebody to take over when 30-year-old Derrick Henry breaks down. It's perfect.
It's a very good team. Good job, Lucas. Dan, I want to thank you for coming on and for donating and supporting the cause. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Big fans and appreciate everything you guys do with St. Jude.
All right.
Thanks, Dave.
Season.
Bye, Keith.
And I'll help you out, Dan. Sorry. I'll move them. Don't you feel, Heath, like you have so much, like when you hear a guy like be like, yep, I'm taking James Cook a round earlier than his ADP because I listen to you guys. I listen to your show. Does that put pressure on your shoulders?
No, I'm just like, thank you. Good job. But you can't. Here's the thing. It's not like even by ADP, James Cook wouldn't have come back to him. He's the 27th player being drafted, and the average is 30th, which is one pick in front of him. So if he wanted James Cook, he had to take him there.
On other websites, James Cook is going a little bit later. He's going 33rd.
Are we drafting on another website?
No, but that doesn't mean they're going to go by our ADP. 33rd, according to Fantasy Pros.
I will just tell people, like, for this very purpose, I write an article every year, the best values on CBS, Yahoo, ESPN, other sites, because the ADP of the draft room you're in does greatly influence who gets drafted.
Okay, that's fair. But if you think that you've got James Cook in your queue in round 2, and there's more of a chance of James Cook coming back to you than like almost any other player you're considering there, should you not take James Cook there?
I mean, so if he was going to take an injured Puka Nacua,
yeah, or like Pacheco is not making it back there.
But he's not going to draft 3 running backs. So you're not hoping Cook comes back to you. And if you'd rather have Cook than Pacheco.
Olave and London are not getting back there. Devontae Adams is not making it back there.
Yeah, I wouldn't take Devontae Adams till round 4. So did I mention we're doing bust tomorrow?
I feel like I'm going to be the only one who likes Devontae Adams. Also, I feel like I have just dug my heels in so much on this Kamara stuff that he better have a good year. Like, it's almost like you try to distinguish yourself a little bit on these shows, and I just feel like I have to be the Kamara guy now.
But nobody's called Kamara a bust.
No, but it's like, if he doesn't do well, I'm going to look horrible.
But that's like, and listen, I'm not saying this about you,
my image
specifically. And some of us, it seems like our bad suggestions stick more than others of us. But like, what, you don't think that's true?
No, I don't know what word you just said there. It was
stick.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. Like my Cortland Sutton call 2 seasons ago is like infamous now. I'm never gonna
Right. And but we've all looked dumb.
Yeah.
And we will all look dumb again.
I was glad. It took a lot of courage for me. I'm going to give myself a lot of courage today for me to take Ken Walker over Alvin Kamara. So I'd like to congratulate myself.
How did you think that Anthony Richardson looked in his first preseason game?
Not good. And you know what? I know you're trying to get me to say that on the air. I said it on the air on HQ last night. Go watch the tape. He nearly threw an interception. And then, such an inexperienced play of Kylan Granson it was like 3rd and 7. Granson gets open immediately over the middle. Throw it to him, hit him on time, and he's got run after the catch. He's going to get the first down. His eyes were downfield, which is okay. He missed him. He didn't see him at first. He threw it late to him. He threw it to the wrong shoulder, and instead of a first down, now they're punting. And this is like, we just have to be honest with ourselves. Anthony Richardson has almost no experience. So there's there could be some bumps in the road.
So maybe tomorrow when we do our bust show.
No, I don't think he's a bust. Like, I know he's not a great passer yet, but he's such a great athlete. And I think Josh Downs will make him better when he comes back. That's another guy I drafted in the last round. He's not out for the season, people.
Jordan Love is still trending up. His ADP went up again, one more spot.
Something about Heath just brings brevity. Like, this was by far the quickest we've ever done one of these drafts.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday night, on our third one, by far ever. The quickest. You shave like 10, 15 minutes off. So thank you everybody for watching, and Heath for joining us.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Dan or Dave, whatever his name was, for coming on. That was great stuff. Thanks to everybody for donating. Listen, there's still some FFT open spots available, and let's see how many are left before we sign off. Did we sell any? Nope, still 5 left in the John Breach League. Go ahead and enter.
That's kickers only, right?
John Breach, the son of a kicker, of an NFL kicker. You get to be in the NFL family if you're in John Breach's league. Well, anyway, we do appreciate all of your support, and have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. We're doing our busts in the morning, and then throughout the day, we're doing breakouts. You'll hear it on Thursday. You'll see it on Wednesday. 4 different breakout episodes, one for each position. For Heath Cummings and Thomas Schaefer, I'm Adam Azer. Good night, everybody.